The elusive S-4, nowhere to be found by Papoose Lake, 10 miles south of Area 51. Except for some strong imagination such as this illustration, there is no evidence whatsoever for Bob Lazar's alleged S-4 facility by Papoose Lake. Everybody knows that in 1989, with the arrival of Bob Lazar, Area 51 became the de facto alien-based story to the believers. However, Bob Lazar never claimed he worked at Area 51. His claim was that he worked temporarily at a facility he called S-4, allegedly 10 miles south of Area 51 by Papoose Lake. In other words, he claimed he worked at S-4 only via Area 51. Yet, the elusive S-4, Site 4, is nowhere to be found by Papoose Lake, south of Area 51, except in a disinformative modified air chart originating from John Lear. In Nevada, the only recognized Site 4 is in the electronic combat ranges of Tonopah Test Range, Nevada. In Southern California, there is a Site 4, Northrop Grumman, at the Air Force Plant 42 in Palmdale, where the B-2A was in development and in construction, presently operated by Lockheed and Boeing for JSF program. Now let's talk about the beginning of Area 51 disinformation campaign. 1988 and 1989 may have been the beginning of some intentional disinformation campaign launched by part of the DoD aerospace industry. The basis for all this may have been the development of better stealth coding technologies than in the previous years, with the use of better composite materials. It seems to me that the US made certain that none of these technologies went into Russian as well as Chinese hands. It is quite possible that a laughter curtain was created linking Area 51 to aliens and alien technologies as a convenient cover story. Let's look at the beginning of Area 51 disinformation campaign of 1988 and 1989. In November of 1988, Amoco Thornell Advanced Aerospace Composites Incorporated placed a full-page advertisement in Aviation Week and Space Technology magazine, headlined, "Technology so advanced it will help you answer some big questions." Strangely, this advertisement appeared on page 51 out of all pages of that issue. Across from the page was a full-page color photo of an alien head and shoulders with his 4 fingers raised in a gesture of friendship. Spokesperson for Amoco said this is a photo of a 10-inch model. The curious thing was that 1988 and 1989 may have been the beginning of some intentional disinformation campaign launched by the Department of Defense aerospace industry. The basis for all this may have been the development of better stealth coding technologies, like I said, than in the previous years, with the use of better composite materials. It seems to me that the United States made certain that none of these technologies went into Russian or Chinese hands. It is quite possible that a laughter curtain was created linking Area 51 to aliens and alien technologies. In October of 1988, Fox TV aired its UFO Cover-Up Live program, during which Area 51 was only briefly mentioned for the first time. According to Robbie Graham, the stars of the show were William Moore and Jamie Shandera, who here introduced the world to their aviary information, Falcon and Condor, who appeared in the show in silhouette and with their voices electronically distorted. As if things weren't mysterious enough already, the silhouetted Falcon was not the real Falcon, but was in fact Richard Doty, who was standing in for his boss, Harry Rositsky. It was later learned that Rositsky was sat in the studio audience all along, silently watching the whole thing unfold. Kondo would later be revealed to be former U.S. Air Force Captain Robert Collins, who, like Doty, had also been stationed at Kirtland Air Force Base in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Between them, Moore, Shandera, Falcon, Doty, and Kondo discussed MJ-12, UFO crash retrievals, including Roswell, and the relationship between the U.S. government and two extraterrestrial biological entities, or EBs, dubbed EB-1 and EB-2, as well as alien biology and culture, including the EB's love of strawberry ice cream and ancient Tibetan music. In its pop cultural Blink and You Miss It debut, Area 51 was also fleetingly mentioned in text form. This was no accident, as the following year, Area 51 would serve as the focus of the next chapter of the Secret Keeper's finely tailored, overarching ufological narrative. UFO Cover-Up Live served to crystallize and synthesize all elements of the emerging UFO core story, which had been sewn into the UFO community by government spooks up to that point. In 1989, Bob Lazar suddenly appeared on the scene. Probably just a coincidence. Or was it? This is Norio Hayakawa in Albuquerque, New Mexico.